I, for one, have always been a fan of occasionally ruining my friendships with the aid of the most current good Mario Party game. It's the best way to ensure that your friends have the appropriate amount of hatred in their heart, for safety or something like that. And I know for a fact that I'm not alone in that, because so many have been impatiently waiting for their need to do the same to be satiated by a good Mario Party on Nintendo Switch. Luckily for us, Mario Party Superstars seems to satiate that need. Mostly. Let's talk about it. Mario Party is a series that I've had a turbulent relationship with, to say the least. To be fair, for most of its existence, it's been great. The first 8 entries in the series, in fact, were solid to great in my opinion, and that's more than most franchises, even massively successful franchises, can honestly say for themselves. But that all ended, and it was a steep decline with the release of Mario Party 9. In the early days of this channel, before the Switch even came out, my main beef was the format for Mario Party 9 and 10. The cars sucked, most of us agree. The Bowser gimmick was also pretty garbage and doomed to fail from the start. I think it's pretty obvious that the 3v1 games in Mario Party are already pretty hit or miss, so those two things being headliner features were definite recipes for those two games to not be on the best side of Mario Party games. Fast forward to Super Mario Party, which for the record I largely liked a lot about that game, but the major sticking points of no real online multiplayer yet again, and its lack of interesting boards in terms of quality and quantity, meant that it's yet another Mario Party game that I couldn't really recommend to most people in good conscience. Of course, it did make a slight rebound with the free multiplayer update that Nintendo released mere months before the latest game came out, and that's worth praising because that alone multiplied my playtime with Super Mario Party. Nintendo had no real reason to do that, especially not for free with that in mind, but even that wasn't enough to elevate Super Mario Party to even being what I would consider a definite good Mario Party game. I have faith that Superstars will too see some sort of post-release content, and the likelihood of this happening goes up exponentially if Nintendo sees some way to financially benefit from this, paid DLC. As is, Mario Party Superstars is a super safe entry in the best way possible. It uses 5 classic boards from a selection of N64 and GameCube entries of the Mario Party series that come part and parcel with a combined 100 minigames from across all of those titles. A noteworthy aspect of all of this is the amount of diversity in these boards that I contend all extend far past the one-note gimmicks from any of the boards that can be found in Super Mario Party. Superstars boards all have varying levels of difficulty, distinct strategies for obtaining stars on the board, and the layouts of each of these boards are completely unique. As I said before, there's 5 of them, and while that's one less than some of the better Mario Party games have had in the past, it's one more than Super Mario Party had, so that's a win in my book. And most importantly, in my opinion, all of this content can be played online with friends, people that you share a room code and/or password, or just straight up randos over the internet. On top of playing full parties online, I'd also like to add the fact that they can all be suspended to finish later for whatever reason, as well as there being the added cherry on top that Mario Party Superstars has a failsafe feature in place in the event that you too happen to be friends with Bob Wolf and his internet randomly decides to yeet him out of your session. Thanks to this new feature, your Bob will also momentarily be replaced with a much better AI to take control of his character until he figures out how to rejoin the game. It's not without its hiccups, of course, few online games truly ever are, but this is much improved over ND Cube's last effort, and I think that that's the only realistic expectation that we truly could have. The mini games themselves are all fun enough, although I do have some major gripes to talk about here. The most important one, something I mentioned when talking about past games, 3v1 mini games feel like a gimme rather than being truly dependent on one side actually performing better than the other. There are some games that feel heavily weighed in the favor of the solo player, and there are others that are the complete inverse of that. This has always been the case, so it's not Superstar's fault, but it would have been nice to see some balancing being attempted to make them not feel like a free space for whatever player or players luck out with the specific game. In fairness, they're fun every once in a while, but I think they would be a lot more fun if there was actually a chance for variance there. My other gripe would be that taking out the motion controlled mini games altogether is the case of throwing out the baby with the bathwater. I see no harm in at least making motion controlled mini games a selectable option in the same way that N64 Mario Party mini games and GameCube Mario Party mini games are selectable when creating a party. Motion controls are divisive, sure, but in a game like this, they can definitely add to the fun in my opinion. I do think they shouldn't be implemented in the way they were in Super Mario Party, since they forced everyone to use the Joy-Con specifically, but they could still be implemented whether that means the games make use of the motion sensors in Pro controllers and other controllers like them, as well as, or they just have players switch to Joy-Con or supporting controllers when a game with motion is selected. Obviously, I'd be all for Nintendo going above and beyond to improve the online play success rate, assuming it's actually on them and not truly user error. But given the instances I've seen, I'm not sure I buy the bulk of errors have anything to do with the way the game is developed or the mythical Switch Online ISP. I have also heard complaints in regards to the delay in games. Again, I haven't personally experienced anything that's out of the norm for online gaming across all platforms that I own, but if anyone here has, I'd be curious to hear about it, so let me know in the comments. Basically though, I'm sure there's some kinds of bugs because every game has at least a few that can be ironed out. I'd imagine we'll see a few more patches to address those, but nothing major. For everything this game does right, and for all of the potential the existence of patches provides, there are some things that a simple patch can't fix, and for that, we look to DLC. Even after the massive success of Super Mario Party on the commercial front, there's still no precedent for paid DLC. But we do know that Nintendo has shown they at least have had a willingness to add post-release content with the aforementioned online multiplayer update from Super Mario Party. The biggest crime this game commits is the outrageous lack of important content, and I'm sure I don't need to tell you what that is. It is the objective biggest snob in this game, possibly any game ever. But for those of you who refuse to see this truth, I'll speak plainly. Nintendo, put Diddy Kong in the video game. He deserves it. Every Diddy Kong fan knows it. I know it, and you should know it too, Nintendo. I'm only partially joking. But seriously, new characters by way of free updates have been pretty successful ways to give slight boosts in interest in Mario spin-offs since that became a possibility, and since in games like Mario Party the development resources needed are relatively light compared to other games, I think adding more characters would be a great idea here. I want Pauline, like I already mentioned. I want Diddy Kong. I'd be down for curveballs like Ninjas. Really, any noteworthy Mario character would be welcome by me if I haven't made that clear already. As usual, data miners have done their thing and discovered there's a good chance that Superstars will at least see a bit of post-release content in the form of 2 boards, and while there's definitely a chance that these 2 boards are free, a chance that I'd obviously be down for, I would be willing to pay for full packs of DLC as well if that's what they're going with. Maybe bundling a board or 2 with like 10 to 20 or so mini games themed around other past Mario Party titles. At this point, I'd honestly be open to DLC packs themed after every Mario Party to date, but I would definitely prefer to see the console Mario Party games up until Mario Party 9. And again, I think motion in Mario Party is a fun spin to the formula, so I'd be happy to see them add it back with some mini games that have supported it in past iterations of the series. So either they add a Wii, Wii U, and maybe even Super Pack, or they introduce a motion DLC pack with a selection of the best games from both. If they really wanted to, they could go buck wild with the DLC. It doesn't just have to be mini games or boards. They can do entire new modes, like in Super Mario Party, the modes that they overdid it with, you know, like the River Rapids mini games, the Rhythm mini games. All of this stuff could be incorporated in Superstars now that the base needs of having the main Mario Party mode be made correctly is accomplished here. Go wild. Seriously, I would buy content for this game for years. Granted, a lot of the content I'm sure they'll want to save for a sequel because I bet that's more lucrative than $10, $20 DLCs every once in a while. Nintendo could rest easy and not include much of any post-release support, and Superstars would still be the best Mario Party game released in the better part of 15 years. But like, that isn't saying much, and it could be one of the best Mario Party games ever if they did continue to support the game in meaningful ways with post-release content free or paid. So here's hoping they do that. What content would you like to see them add to Mario Party Superstars, or would you rather see a sequel? Let me know that and more in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, I have good news for you. We have another video that's going up this week, if it didn't already go up this week, about the new Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack and the future of its inclusion in our lives. Be sure to subscribe to see that. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did, click the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.